The 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution stands as a pivotal chapter in the nation's ongoing quest for equality and justice. It represents a significant turning point in American history, marking a profound shift in the legal and social fabric of the country. Ratified in 1868 in the aftermath of the Civil War, this amendment fundamentally reshaped the relationship between the federal government and the states, ensuring that no state could deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Profoundly impacting the lives of all Americans, it laid the groundwork for future civil rights advancements and set a precedent for the protection of individual rights. Its enduring legacy continues to shape legal and social discourse today, influencing contemporary debates on issues such as immigration, voting rights, and marriage equality. This essay delves into the 14th Amendment through the lens of originalism, a method of constitutional interpretation that emphasizes understanding the original intent of its framers. By examining the historical context and the framers' intentions, we gain a deeper appreciation of the amendment's significance. The 14th Amendment, composed of 5 sections, tackles crucial aspects of citizenship, due process, equal protection, and the enforcement of these rights. Each section addresses specific issues that were pertinent during the Reconstruction era and remain relevant today. The Equal Protection Clause, in particular, has been a powerful tool in the fight against discrimination, ensuring that all individuals are treated fairly under the law. It has served as the cornerstone for landmark Supreme Court decisions, shaping the legal landscape on issues ranging from civil rights to reproductive freedom. The case of Brown versus Board of Education has its roots in the 14th Amendment. Understanding the 14th Amendment is essential to grasping the evolution of American jurisprudence and the ongoing dialogue about the balance between individual liberties and governmental authority. Its principles continue to resonate, reminding us of the enduring struggle for justice and equality in the United States. Originalism, in its essence, seeks to interpret the Constitution based on the understanding of those who drafted and ratified it. This approach emphasizes the importance of historical context and the intentions of the Founding Fathers. Proponents of this approach argue that the Constitution's meaning is fixed at the time of its adoption, and that this fixed meaning should guide contemporary interpretation. They assert that judges should strive to uncover and apply that original meaning when deciding cases, ensuring that the judiciary does not overstep its bounds. They believe that deviating from the original intent undermines the rule of law and grants judges and politicians excessive power to reinterpret the Constitution according to their own ideologies, which can lead to unpredictable and subjective rulings. Originalists employ various tools to discern the original meaning of constitutional provisions. They meticulously analyze historical records to understand the framers' perspectives. They delve into historical documents, including debates from the Constitutional Convention, the Federalist Papers, and other writings from the founding era, to gather insights. These writings, including letters and personal correspondences of the Founding Fathers, provide valuable context and clarity. They examine the text itself, considering the plain meaning of the words used at the time and how those words were understood by the people of that era. By understanding the historical context and the framers' intentions, originalists aim to provide a consistent and objective framework for constitutional interpretation. This method seeks to preserve the integrity of the Constitution and ensure its application remains true to its foundational principles. Section 1 of the 14th Amendment is perhaps its most controversial, laying the foundation for modern civil rights immigration policies in the United States. It establishes birthright citizenship, overturning the infamous Dred Scott decision, which had denied citizenship to African Americans and perpetuated racial inequality. The section further declares that no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, a principle that ensures fair treatment through the normal judicial system, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws, a clause that has been pivotal in the fight against discrimination. Originalists approach these clauses with a focus on the historical understanding of citizenship, due process, and equal protection during the Reconstruction era, emphasizing the framers' intent. This was meant to ensure that all citizens were treated equally, and it was only meant for citizens. They argue that citizenship was intended to encompass all persons born or naturalized in the United States, regardless of race or ethnicity, thus promoting inclusivity. Due process is interpreted as requiring fair legal procedures before depriving individuals of their rights, ensuring justice is served without bias or prejudice. Equal protection is seen as guaranteeing equal application of the law to all persons within a state's jurisdiction, prohibiting discrimination based on race, gender, or other protected characteristics, and fostering a more equitable society. Section 2 of the 14th Amendment addresses the issue of representation in Congress. It states that if a state denies or abridges the right to vote of any male citizens over the age of 21, except for participation in rebellion or other crimes, the state's representation in Congress shall be reduced proportionally. This provision aimed to incentivize states to grant suffrage to African American men. Originalists view this section as a clear directive on voting rights, albeit one limited to male citizens at the time. They argue that the text focuses on intentional discrimination in voting based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. However, they debate the extent to which this section applies to other forms of voting restrictions, such as literacy tests or poll taxes, which were used to disenfranchise African Americans despite not being explicitly based on race. Section 5, Section 3, Rebellion and its consequences. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment disqualifies individuals who have engaged in rebellion or insurrection against the United States from holding federal office. This provision was specifically aimed at former Confederate officials and sympathizers, preventing them from regaining political power during Reconstruction. Originalists interpret this section as a necessary measure to prevent those who had taken up arms against the United States from holding positions of authority. They argue that the framers intended to ensure the stability of the newly reunited nation and prevent those who had sought to destroy it from influencing its governance. However, the application of this section in modern times, particularly regarding potential disqualifications related to January 6th, remains a subject of debate. You can't honestly call what happened on January 6th an insurrection. Section 6, Section 4, Public Debt and the Aftermath of Insurrection. Section 4 of the 14th Amendment addresses the validity of the public debt of the United States. It affirms that the validity of the public debt, including debts incurred for pensions and bounties for suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. This provision aimed to prevent any attempts to repudiate debts incurred by the Union during the Civil War. Originalists view this section as a crucial safeguard for the financial integrity of the nation. They argue that it reflects the framers' intent to ensure that the United States honors its financial obligations, even in the aftermath of a devastating conflict. This provision underscores the importance of fiscal responsibility and the rule of law in maintaining a stable and functioning government. Section 7, Section 5, Congress's power to enforce the amendment. Section 5 of the 14th Amendment grants Congress the power to enforce the provisions of the amendment by appropriate legislation. This section provides Congress with a critical tool to protect the rights guaranteed by the amendment and to remedy violations of those rights. Originalists debate the scope of Congress's enforcement power under this section. Some argue that Congress's power is limited to enacting legislation that directly enforces the specific provisions of the amendment. Others contend that Congress has broader authority to address issues related to the amendment's underlying purposes, such as combating racial discrimination. In other words, Congress should pass a law that denies citizenship to the children of illegal immigrants and those seeking citizenship due to a pregnancy. They could even make it so the child has to ask for citizenship and follow all of the same procedures that other legal immigrants have to do. Section 8. Originalism's impact on the 14th Amendment today. Originalism continues to exert a significant influence on the interpretation and application of the 14th Amendment today. Proponents of this approach argue that it provides a neutral and objective framework for resolving constitutional disputes. They point to Supreme Court decisions that have relied on originalist principles to protect individual rights and limit government overreach. One notable example is the landmark case of Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, which declared state-sponsored segregation in public schools unconstitutional. While the court did not explicitly rely on originalism in its decision, Many scholars argue that the 14th Amendment's framers intended to prohibit racial discrimination in education. Section 9. Conclusion. A call to engage with constitutional history. The 14th Amendment stands as a testament to the enduring power of the Constitution to adapt to changing social and political landscapes. Originalism, as a method of constitutional interpretation, offers a valuable perspective on understanding the amendment's historical context and the framers' intentions. By engaging with the original meaning of the 14th Amendment, we gain a deeper appreciation for its transformative impact on American society and its continued relevance in shaping debates about equality, justice, and the role of government. As citizens, it is incumbent upon us to engage with our constitutional history and to grapple with the complexities of interpreting this living document. The 14th Amendment in particular demands our attention as we navigate the challenges of our time and strive to build a more just and equitable society for all.